We're live. Are we live? I think we're live. I don't know. Who knows what happens anymore? Are we live? I think we're live. Yes. It won't be long because in 30, 40 minutes, I interview Dr. Jim Beckett. That's going to be fun. Little surreal. I need to turn on the light. Let's do it. Why not? Why not? So it won't be a long live. It'll be rather short, maybe a half hour. I've already saw one question by Stoned Collector. It's too long. You can't keep questions that long. I'm learning as I do more interviews, and yeah, a long, stumbly question, it needs to be pretty concise and not me. I mean, doesn't mean some of my questions go too long-winded, but I did like this question. Does it offend you in any way that your name in a publication that, in short, does not give a fuck? I don't know if I'm allowed to custom it in. They does not give a fudge. They do not update prices. They do not put the set that people actually collect. In short, Beckett used to be the back. I mean, it's not in short. It's too long. I made it in short for you, Stone Collector. Let me also credit you, or at least put you in there, Stoned Collector. Stone Cold, Stone Collector. I wrote it this way. Does it bother you what has become of Beckett, that your baby, your creation, has gone basically ever since you sold it, has rolled all the way downhill? And I think that sums up your question. And I like that question. It wasn't something I was going to ask. And I think that's a pretty darn good question. Um, yeah, I think it's a good question by Stoned Collector. Let's see. He put a bunch of them in there. When I was a kid, food releases were big. I felt they drew in lots of people. The McDonald's NBA Post cereal. Why do you think that is not? Why do you think that stopped? That's interesting. No. Question for a lot of Stone Collector. Hey, thank you for offering some questions. Question for the doc: what needs to happen to revive Beckett? All right, that's along the same lines as the other one. So let's make that 1A from our boy Gio. 1A. What, or how about, can anything revive the current state of Beckett? All right, we got 2. Does it bother you what's become of Beckett, basically? And then, can anything revive, or what needs to happen to revive? It'll be a 20, 30-minute live here, because then then I'm going to jump over there. Friday, I'm going to interview Run Good Life again. That'll be, I have some things. We definitely have a few things we want to shoot back and forth, but that'll be after the live. So I'll be live tomorrow at 5 like normal. Hopefully we have a lot of fun. By the way, Friday night's live was a kick. I mean, that was a ton of fun. And I hope no one's feelings got hurt. I know Geo's didn't. I know mine didn't. And I was under attack there for a bit. So, I just had a blast. What a 3-hour live. That was any more questions? I've taken 2 so far. Basically, I mean, this is too long, but does it, Beckett's gone downhill since he sold it. That's his name. It was his company, his creation. It was the leader. It had more market share than you could think of. I mean, when I think of Beckett, it's synonymous with cards growing up. You had to own a Beckett. You bought a Beckett, whether you bought it quarterly, monthly, yearly. A Beckett was a must, depending the player on the cover. It was sports cards. Beckett was sports cards. So, anyways, it definitely is not that anymore. But pretty surreal. I get to what's more valuable, Black Label Beckett grade or PSA 10. The Or King. Good to see you. Rugs Capital Collector Charles. Not sure what I said to say. I don't know. Jill says he's offended. Maybe in the chat, maybe me. Scott. Always fascinated with Beckett. I'm curious when he knew he was on to something. When he saw the star was on the backside of his bright. Okay, all right. My goal is to stay a bit more current. I do have a couple questions going back to the good old days, but no, my goal, and he's pretty much agreed to any topic. So the goal is to stay a bit more. I think it's a disservice just to play the memory game. I think people, that's fun and that's fine, but I want what he thinks of today. differences, things he's happy with, things he's not happy with. He has his own podcast, and he asked for the audio of this for his podcast, so that's flattering. And I don't know if it'll be used. I don't know in what sense, but anyways, sure. He had one of his pod was conflict of interest, and he mentioned how it's just mentioned a few things, and then his guests just skated over it, and they just went a different way. So I'm curious what his thoughts are, if it's just the world today. But yeah, there's a lot of wisdom to be gained from Beckett here. Friday was a blast. Friday Friday was a lot of fun. Fresser is afraid it'll be added to the list if he asks about the NNOF. Is that an acronym? NNOF. What am I missing there? Dear Dr. Beckett, in non-sports card collecting going to take over sports dollar-wise, I could ask him his take on the Pokemon craze right now. I don't know how much information, what his thought. Insane. Every month. Oh, I know. Yeah, it was fun. I couldn't afford every month, but anytime I had a chance, I'd want to buy. Beckett's were fun, man. Beckett's were fun. That was part. I was sitting there with your Beckett, with your car. That's part. I mean, I guess scrolling eBay or prices is that a little bit. And the hobbies change, and that's part of it. Anyone that didn't use a Beckett or grew up after, a lot of these guys used it. If they didn't use a Beckett, they were around. They just weren't into cards. But anyone younger, yeah, it's a different game if you never had that experience. Does he see Beckett selling in the future? I mean, that I don't mind. That kind of goes along with the two other in that category. I'm not going to ask him a ton. We'll end there on Beckett. Cheers, Professor. Appreciate that. So, hey, Ziggy, thank you for helping make this happen. No doubt. Hey, King, I just took you off the bottom. I updated. Oh, I don't have it down there. Also, I guess this is the newest thing, the newest edition of the show if you're watching. And I just took you off the bottom, King. I updated it last night. I'll put you back on. Thanks for being a member. I have a hobby hotline. I think we're going to call it what do I have it there somewhere? Unfiltered hobby hotline. And you're just answering to a voicemail. And the goal here is to get people to call in, give a 30-second rant, leave your name, don't leave your name. I will screen these things. I'm not just going to, Uncle Darnell's not going to show up on the voicemail. But call in with the rant, call in with the question, call in with the take. You don't have to do it live. You just call the number at the bottom. And this way, excuse me. (702-483-7344). Call now, act fast. ShamWow. Anyways, it's the unfiltered hobby hotline. It's just a voicemail. I'll check these voicemails. If we get some good ones, we'll play them on the live. It's a segment, listen to a rant, comment on the rant, get a question, talk about the question, have a take, listen to the take, comment on the take. So anyways, it's just a little bit something extra. People don't want to call in. I have to screen them. I mean, please don't screen them. I'll still let a lot in. I mean, the filter will still be, I'm not trying to, but no more Uncle Darnell moments. We don't need some idiot. Even if they're talking trash, that could be fun. I'm not going to be nip as long as it's, PG-13 or something, sure. I'm not going to, it would be more fun to get my take live, but hey, maybe someone else, I get to screen them so I get to hear it live, but that would be better for me to hear it live. So maybe a viewer or somebody is in charge of screening them, but they can't be, hate speech. I'm not going to have that. Some other things. There's no need for it. And we're getting to the point here where it would be going 9 minutes. There's no beginning and there's already 50 people in here. So we started these things a couple months ago. I started going live and there was 15, 20 people. And now we're seeing closer to about 100 people. I think the average over the month was 85. Insane. So I don't know if we're peaking. I'm peaking in that. I don't know if it'll drop, go up, but either way, yeah, I don't want, someone's got to screen the calls. Tani, man, what a machine. What a machine. Evening. Anybody with questions for Dr. Beckett? I'm not going to give you my questions. You know the kind of questions I ask anyways. I mean, you pretty much know what I want to know. No one's really asking the questions I ask. And so does it feel a little redundant? Yeah, but no one else is doing it. So I feel fine about it. And it's new guest. But I have to say, Stone Collector, does it bother you what what Beckett has become? A lot of PSA on the mind. And, does it bother him? Does it bother him what's happened to the name of the company? And then can he do anything to revive it? Or can anything be done? Or what could be done to revive it? And do you see Beckett selling the company, the company selling? Anyone else with any questions? I appreciate that, Scott. Don't hate on you and say I got another 4 months. Where does the hobby in 5 years? What's up, baseball card dude? Baseball cards. Did I miss anybody's good question? I'd love to see I'd love to get one more viewer question. Let's put it that way. Professor Sports Cards asks Dr. Beckett, why the ending subgrade on Beckett Vintage Grading? Why they ended subgrading? I think he wasn't part of the company anymore. I would assume the subgrading ended way after he sold the company. So maybe he still has insight to it, but and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I would, when he was there, they were still doing subgrades. I think he sold the company like back in 2008. Let's look it up so I'm not an idiot. But just from memory. 2005. In January 2005, Beckett offloaded the company to Appraise Media, which aimed to broaden its portfolio. And basically everyone they sold it to just gradually made it worse and worse and worse. Because I think it's sold since then. It's not still, I'm again, by memory, and I was 3 years off here, 2005. I said 2008. So, but I'm like 95% positive they've sold it since then. I guess you can't see the screen. You're looking at me, but it's 4:32. I go on live with Beckett at 5. So we'll go for about 18 more minutes. I'd love to get one more viewer question. Anything else? There's I'm just going to plug it again real quick. The hobby hotline, 702-483-7344. It's a voicemail. It's a new segment we could run on the live. Someone call in, rant. Someone call in, give a take. Someone call in, ask a question. And let's run with it. Make it entertaining. You don't have to call live. It's a 20-second bam, bam, bam little phone call. And we play it on the live. Hey, I think we need to be creative. I think it needs to stay engaging. I do have some future callers lined up, some random or different kind of callers, the sports card related. Fridays have been a blast. It's been fun with Gio in here, no doubt. Getting Troy on here was fun. Getting Neo on here after the trash talk. I think that, to me, I'm going to be honest. Let's be honest. Why do I have my face doing the whole thing? I'm not in love with that. Let me change that. I was going to be honest for a second. Dr. Beckett Graydon has no impact on the company now. Yeah. Let's do this real quick. Oh, Jesus. No, I think that me talking trash and Neo coming on broke some ice. Sometimes there's a little tension's got to break some ice. And we had him on here. He seemed, you can see this black screen. I don't want to lose my train of thought. Jesus. Oh my God. Get it together. Get it together. My phone's going off. Get it together. You gotta get yourself together. Raiders suck. I mean, if you really, there's with the yarmulke. Probstein's last day on eBay. God, that football game, that Giants Bronco game, unreal. What a great game. What am I doing here? Do this. We're going to go for 10 more minutes. I don't even know why I'm bothering with this, but just so you don't have to see my full face window, no, entire screen. We want Pac-Man's face there, share, and now you got it. All right. No, I felt like it was loose, and I'm guessing Neo doesn't have hard feelings. Maybe he does. Maybe he thinks I'm a complete ass. But you know what? I felt like we had him on here throwing some jabs. We got him on here a little loose. He was laughing. He was smiling. He talked more in that 15 minutes on this live than he does in his own live with the guys in a 2-hour show. So I thought that sometimes, Phil Jackson was a huge believer in, a little bit of conflict makes you closer. I mean, he had the guys read about it. You think some of Shaq and Kobe, some of it was organic, and some of it was probably created by Master Phil. Shit, Pippen and Jordan won't even talk to each other now. You don't think Phil Jackson has something to do with that subconscious, without any knowledge of that, of the reason being? Jedi. Absolute Jedi. Anyways, I saw Neo was joining. Do we got any? I got 10 more minutes, 8 more minutes, and I'm going to go interview Beckett. I'm going to interview Run Good Life on Friday. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I've been working on for about 3 weeks a new form of content. And it's not just something I could just go edit, or else it wouldn't have took me 3 weeks. But it should, start coming out next week, I would think. And I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be excellent. I think as long as the final product, I don't completely flub, or, just totally miss the mark, which I won't. I'm very excited for it. I think it's something we have not seen really in sports card content ever. And you have such an ego. Oh, stop saying you're better than everyone. I mean, it's just a fact. If it comes to fruition and it finishes, yeah, it's something new. It's definitely something new. Do we have any questions for Mr. Beckett? Where does he see the hobby in 5 years? Let's get Beckett some better marketing, fun ways to get the brand back in the mix. PSA. About the owner of Beckett is in prison. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember that story. Is it it's not the, I think it's like he's very high. I think he owns several companies. It's not like he just owns Beckett. I could, correct me if I'm wrong, Annoy, but I believe this guy's pretty high up. He wasn't just running Beckett. He's in jail he owns a bunch of, the top dog, who happens to own Beckett as well as many other companies. It's not like it's his precious joy, at least how I remember it. Professor, sports cards. It will be interesting to learn the reasons why Beckett ended subgrades. Still involved in when Dr. So wait a minute. You're telling me they canceled subgrades that long ago? Because I feel like subgrades were still a thing back in 04, 05. And I thought they were a thing up until far more recently. Yeah, correct. I mean, that's 20 something years ago. So I don't know, but I think it's a mistake to go 20 years back, 30 years back. I will ask a couple. I'm definitely going to ask about some reflection. He has wisdom that we don't. He's been all the way inside for a very long time. And I don't know all the way inside anymore, but he has a different viewpoint than pretty much anyone else on the planet. So I just think it's a mistake going so far backwards. I prefer to stay on what's happening now and his thoughts on now. And I have no idea what he's going to say. I have no idea where he's going to lean. He does not know my questions. I wanted to make sure I didn't get dirty on him or like throw things he didn't want to talk about. So I kind of gave him a rundown of the channel, kind of gave him, some topics I'd like to hit, which normally we don't. Every interview so far. This is why I was taken a little bit aback by Dustin when he asked me if I wanted like the roll down sheet. It's like, no, I want to do it live. And that's how, Troy said the same thing. Run Good Life. Who else have we had? Every interview, every person I've had on here, SCV, Gio, Mangini, no rundown. We just want to hear and that's the best. That's a real interview. That is the best. If he gets a new card, where would he grade it? Not sure if he was asked, but you can get a sense of how Beckett comes up with the prices in the guide. I know I'm not going to say his name, but there's a viewer, actually somewhat local to me, and he was in the early 90s, mid 90s. He would go to shows to get prices. And because it was basketball and a lot of people for Beckett weren't basketball people, he was chosen for this. So he knew he had a lot of knowledge on some of this refractor stuff and all that. So he would go gather prices from shows to report back to the magazine. So I do think they had some people in the field getting prices. Bob, it's interesting. You guys really want me to go back 30 years and ask him the questions about, to me, that seems just like such a waste of an interview. Like I'm drooling. You're the third or fourth person question that's like, hey, let's go back to memory lane. I'm more curious on his views of today. The other thing is I could just go down a whole episode of asking about the past. I really could, but I just think that's such a miss. And there's stuff I would ask, but I just think it's not the right way. I think he had people in the field gaining knowledge at shows. But let's just make a regrade. Beckett has nothing to do with the company for 20 years. He doesn't own the company. He has zero to do with the company. It just happens to have his name. He sold the company in 2005. So I'm not going to ask him a ton on insights and insides of Beckett because he hasn't done anything with it for 20 years. Can Beckett take back a large market share? And if how so? So the viewers have asked me, I've only got a few viewer questions. Stone Collector, does it bother you what Beckett has become since you've sold it? I think, let me reword this because that's by far the best way. Does it bother you what Beckett has become since you sold it 20 years ago? And then to piggyback off that, Gio mentioned, can anything revive the current state of Beckett or what would need to be done? And that's very similar to your question that I just read. And do you see Beckett selling? Well, right now it feels like PSA is a buyer. They bought SGC. Why wouldn't they just buy Beckett too? Fractional ownership. Ooh, I kind of like that. Online vaulting. Kind of HMJ for the win. I kind of like those. Could you get Beckett to rant about fractional ownership, online vaulting, and other? All my questions are modern. I have 8 questions. 6 are modern, 2 are not. So my questions are right down that lane. But I did not ask either of those, and I think those are at least fair to note. So, 2. What is your take on fractional ownership and what was the other one? Online vaulting. You know what I didn't put in here. One of my questions I didn't put in. Oh, and who asked that? HMJ, right? Let's give some credit. HMJ. I'm going to leave it to myself. I'm going to leave this to myself. What do we got? 4:43. I'm going to go 6 more minutes. I'm going to use the bathroom, get my head together, and then I'm going to freaking interview Dr. Jim Beckett. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless about it. It's like Beckett was bigger than Beckett was sports cards growing up. It's really that simple. There was Fleer and Tops and Upper Deck. There was more sets. More people. It wasn't just Tops making cards or Panini making cards. There was a Skybox. And so Beckett was Beckett. There was a lot of manufacturers. Let's put it that way. There was a mix of manufacturers in the 80s and 90s with the license. But there was only one Beckett. There was a tough stuff. I feel like there's a third one I'm missing. Tough stuff wasn't Beckett, though. So crazy. Crazy. Let's look back at chat. We have, what is your take on fractional ownership / online vaulting? Ask him about the complete farce that is BC. I know. I don't want to go way back, but I have a BCCG, and I knew it was just 10 years ago when I bought it. I knew it was no credibility, but a 10 Kobe. Tough stuff was trash. I was no Beckett. So I'm just reading some of the comments here. Would Beckett ever get involved with another form of the industry within the hobby? Does he participate within the hobby? Oh, does he participate? Yeah. That's even a good opening. Do you currently participate do you have any desire to get back into a company? I can't imagine. He's not a young man at this point. Enjoy retirement. We'll find out. We'll find out. He was not shy about going over. Maybe he'll for me, in my ideal world, if this go as well as it could, he's picking his shot. He's picking his moment. He knows what my channel's about. He knows the topics I want to discuss. So I don't think, I just can't imagine he's going to come on being all soft. He welcomed it, So I don't know if he's going to run away from the issues. I hope he's just honest. Number one, I don't want him to sugarcoat. I don't want him to go the other way. I always want him to be his honest take. I hope he's not too soft on stuff. I hope he gives real, his good opinions and how he really feels. Cause I'm sure he's happy about certain things in the hobby, and I'm sure there's got to be some other things he's like, what the hell? Yeah, I'm definitely going to get into overprinting cards, the manufactured scarcity. I don't word it that way. Basically serial number after serial number after serial number, year over year after year, auto after auto after auto, year after year after year. We'll see what happens in 15 years when you can go buy all these autos for $5, $4, $3, $20. Hey, lady, come on, lady. 1 pound fish. 1 pound fish. Very, very good. Very, very cheap. Very, very cheap. Very, very cheap. Oh, man. All right, guys. It's 4:48. I'm considering. I'm gonna miss there's 87 people in here. We've been going 20 minutes. We didn't have an intro. I'm considering hopping back on after. I like hanging, and missing a Tuesday with you guys sucks. That's why I made sure to come on a half hour prior, just to make sure I enjoy hanging out with you guys. It's fun. And I think you guys also think enjoy hanging and find it fun, or you wouldn't be coming. So, guys, that has to be the show, because I need to go to the bathroom, get myself situated, and then interview a legend in the hobby. That's just what it is. And then I get to meet, for the first time, a legend in the hobby. Guys, have a great night. I'm flirting with coming back on after the interview. Who the hell knows? What time is it? 5. We'll probably finish up around 6:30 my time. It's kind of late. I might still come on just to chat, just to hang for a bit. Unsure. Enjoy your evening. Thanks for being here. I'll come back. I'll definitely be live tomorrow at 5. It will go at least 2 hours. I'll definitely be live Friday night. We got the World Series. God damn, that George Springer home run. I've been in contact with Run Good Life quite a bit, because we're for the interview and trying to come up with a time. We were going to do it last Friday. Is game. But the Mariners are in the playoffs, and I have another friend, Joe, who grew up in Washington. What a crushing way to lose. What an amazing way to win, and what a crushing way to lose. And George Springer, what is it, 22 home runs in the postseason? It's either 22 or 23. Tie 4th most home runs all time in the playoffs. And it doesn't get any bigger than that home run last night. Just I mean, you knew it off the bat. Fun night. Guys, I'll see you later tonight. Definitely tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping by. And NBA starts tonight as well. Lot going on. See you soon, guys.